If your lead gen sucks, you're literally burning money. Doing this wrong loses good leads and overlooks thousands of dollars in deals every month. But here's how you can fix it. I just built a master AI agent in n8n that finds me 10 plus fresh real estate leads every single day and drops them straight into my CRM while I'm sleeping. But I'm about to show you in today's video is one of the easiest ways to get leads if you're struggling right now. This is actually a hybrid lead gen and personal task agent that doesn't just send you leads, it also handles jobs that save you an extra 1 to 3 hours every single day. But let's take a step back for a second. I'm sure you've spent entire mornings scrolling through Zillow and Facebook groups hunting for leads, paid $500 or more for lead lists that turned out to be garbage, and watched your pipeline turn into nothing because you were too busy chasing dead ends. But using this master AI real estate agent means no more searching for leads, no more overpaying for lists, and no more letting your CRM dry up. Real estate is a numbers game, and if your goal is to stop worrying about leads so you can focus on closing, you'll want to stick around to the end. But before we get into things, my name is Mike. I help business owners and people in real estate use AI to earn their time back and get more done so that they can focus on what matters most. And as a gift for watching this video, I'll be giving this whole AI lead gen real estate agent away completely for free so that you can start using it right now. So let's hop into n8n and get right into it. All right, so I'm sure you're excited to see how this AI system can actually start feeding leads directly into your CRM so that we can actually fix this lead gen problem. So let's not waste any time and jump straight into a quick demo here. So I have this workflow set up to trigger every single day, but in order to show you guys in real time how this entire thing works, I'm going to test this workflow right here, and we could generate a set of real estate leads right here on the spot. So let me actually zoom in a little bit here so you can see this workflow a little bit closer, and let's get this started. So as you can see, once our trigger is hit, our workflow is actually going to be pulling leads from a for sale by owner database, which I have set up. But from there, we're actually going to extract and format that lead information to take out all of the key pieces of information for us to send off into our CRM and to get it organized into a format that we can actually use. And from there, we're actually going to organize this data using this node here. Then we're going to save them into our CRM, which in my case is Airtable. And then from there, we're going to use an AI step to actually generate a success email to send to me to let me know that this system has actually finished generating leads for me. And all I have to do is show up and reach out to whatever leads are available to me. And then finally, that system is going to send an email off to me directly into my inbox to let me know that my assistant has finished scraping leads for me. And as you can see here, if I pop into my Gmail, I just got this message from my assistant Alyssa, and she just said, "Hi Mike, I've generated your fresh list of leads for Tuesday, June 10th, and they're now saved directly into your CRM. Everything is ready for you to review when it's convenient. Let me know if there's anything else that I can help with." And now if we actually head into my CRM right here, I have a new tab created for all of my new leads. And as you can see, I've been playing around with this a bit. I've been able to generate quite a few new leads with this system right here, and it's all cleanly organized with information like people's names, the URL to the actual listing, along with all sorts of property information here. And interestingly, you could come down here and see at the bottom under this sum table right here that I've scraped a little bit over $26 million worth in property leads at this point in time. Now, of course, there's so many automations you could build off the back end of this. You could filter out anybody who might not be qualified as your ideal customer, or you could even use this to set up a cold email campaign to directly reach out to these people for you. And if you're interested in seeing something like that, I'll link up a previous video I made somewhere up here where I built a custom AI agent to handle all of your cold outreach for you, and you guys can go ahead and check that out if you're interested. Alright, so as you guys probably saw, within the same workflow, we also have access to an AI task agent. And this is something that could do all sorts of tasks for you in the background that could save you all sorts of time every single day. And I just thought it would be a pretty neat feature to add onto the back end of this lead gen agent. Now to demo this agent, I'm actually going to be asking if it can remind me of some of the property info on Jonah Davis so that I can tell one of my other clients about the property that he's trying to sell. So as I get this message sent off, we'll see that it will be able to classify this message to our AI task agent. And from there, it'll be able to get that client data from my CRM and then pass it back to me off here in chat. So the agent just got back to me and said, "Okay, I found Jonah Davis, and he has a property in West Hills that's 2,000 square feet." Now, if we head into my CRM, we'll be able to see this exact information right here under Jonah Davis's category within my client base. The agent was able to grab this information right here and accurately give it back to me so that I didn't actually have to go in and look it up. So you'll notice that the agent actually asked me here if there's anything else that he can help me with. So I'm going to come back here and actually take this demo a step further, and I'm going to say, actually, yes. I'm going to ask if the agent can book me and John Archer for a showing at Jonah's property tomorrow at 2 p.m. And once again, I'll get this message sent off. It'll classify it as an AI task agent job. Our agent will process that, book us a meeting in Google Calendar, and get that all set up for me right here on the spot. And now back in our chat, the agent just confirmed that it did in fact book me and John Archer for a showing at Jonah's property tomorrow at 2. And now as you can see in my actual Google Calendar here, we do in fact have a new event tomorrow at 2 p.m., which is our showing with John Archer. And as you guys could see, I did this without having to do any manual work, and I was able to get both of these micro tasks done in a matter of seconds. And in addition to being able to interact with this system through this chat window, I could also come into this agent and tell it that I just ran out of leads and request it to just generate me some more right here on the spot. And I could literally do this any time of day that I want to, and it'll route to this exact same workflow that you guys just saw me execute a moment ago. And of course, you could add way more tools onto this agent, but I'm just kind kind of showing you guys what's possible here. The main focus here was obviously our AI lead gen workflow, and that's actually going to be the main bread and butter of this video today. So with all of that said, let me actually walk you through step by step how to actually get this AI system set up for yourself so that you can download it and start using it today. All right, so now that we've actually gone through this demo and you guys kind of have a better idea of how this system can generate new lists of fresh leads for you however often you want, let me actually take you through step by step on how to actually get this set up for yourself. And as I said before, you guys can have everything that you're seeing in this video completely for free if you head down into my links in the description and download this exact template in my Notion page. So before we take a look at exactly how this system works, if you're serious about getting AI to work for you and you happen to be in real estate or you own a business, but you're not quite sure where to start, go ahead and hit my first link down in the description and I'll send you a personalized AI action plan for any particular issue you're going through, completely for free. Or you could hit my second link to actually book a one-on-one consultation with me so we can actually talk about what sort of solutions could work with your business when it comes to AI. So with that said, let's jump straight back into this video. All right, so in order to actually illustrate to you guys how this works, I'm going to be jumping between n8n and this application right here that contains a quick flow chart. Now, as you can see right here, I actually have two triggers for this agent. One is going to be a chat message. The other is going to be an actual scheduler. And when we actually take a look at this in our n8n workflow, you'll be able to understand a little bit better how all of these work. Now, the first thing that I have set up right here is actually my scheduled trigger, which is going to be running every single day. Now, when you're scraping leads from online sources, this is actually going to be the way that you're going to want to set this up. Regardless of whether you're using this agent up here or not, the system will still get triggered every single day, which means it's going to be able to send you fresh leads directly into your CRM every single day on complete autopilot. Now, for this trigger itself, I actually have it set to run every single day at 9 a.m., but you can really set this to run whenever you really want to. It mainly depends on preference or when you want to have access to your new leads. This trigger is going to connect directly onto our lead gen workflow, which I'm going to get to in a second here. But as for our first trigger right here, this one is actually going to serve a couple of different purposes. And in order to help you guys understand this a little bit more, let's actually go into our AI text classifier so that you can understand what exactly is going on here. Now, for every chat message that we send, we're going to be categorizing this either into a lead gen request or a task related request. As you can see here within our flowchart, every chat message that you send is going to be sent directly into our AI text classifier in order to actually figure out what it is that you want. Now, if you ask for anything task related, like if you want to book a client in, if you're trying to get information out of your CRM, if you're trying to do research or anything like this that's not lead based, your request is going to get routed directly into the AI task agent, which will be able to work with you in order to handle whatever it is that you asked for. Second, if this AI step actually determines that you want to scrape more leads, then it'll route you onto the second pathway, which will connect directly back into our lead gen workflow. In other words, you could either ask the agent to do direct tasks for you, or you can ask it to scrape you more leads if you happen to run out, or if you happen to want to add more to your CRM for whatever reason. Now, the way that this text classifier works is we've created two pathways in here. The first is going to be our upper pathway. That's going to lead onto our AI task agent. Then our second category is going to be anything related to generating or obtaining more leads. And again, all of this is going to be available completely for free down in my description, so you guys can just pick this up and start using it right away. And if you want to, you can even add more categories here and add more workflows onto this system if you want to give it even more capabilities. Now, because this is a lead gen video, let's go straight into this lead gen workflow so that you guys can understand how this works, and then we'll go check out our AI task agent after we've worked our way through this. So you might be wondering where we're actually getting all of these leads from. And in my case, I'm actually going to forsalebyowner.com. Now, there are plenty of sources that you can use to scrape leads. This is definitely not limited to only this site. I wanted to find something that would be reliable and something that gets updated relatively frequently. In this case, I'm actually scraping leads from all for sale by owner listings in Miami, Florida. As you can see in the upper left, we actually have 91 results available here just in Miami. And if we click on any of these listings, we can actually go in and see all of the data that we're able to scrape here. So we have address, we have price, and we have all sorts of property details. And down at the bottom, we even have information about the actual seller. Now, in order to actually pull this for sale by owner information, I'm actually using a service called Gina AI that I'm accessing in this HTTP request right here. If you download my template, all of this should already be set for you. The only thing you're going to need to do is set your API key and then replace this URL if you want to be scraping a different source. Now, Gina AI is actually a very easy platform to use, and it's so easy in fact that you don't even need to set up an account. As soon as you open up the site, it'll give you a custom API key completely for free, and you can find it by going right here under API key and billing, and then simply copy this API key right here that you see in this field. From there, all you're going to do is come down here under your header parameters and then paste that API key right here after the word bearer in this value field. But just for your reference right here, under URL is actually going to be the source that we're going to be scraping leads from. Now, if I open this, everything that you see right here after this / is going to be the URL that you're going to be scraping. In this case, all I did was come over here into forsalebyowner.com and searched up listings in Miami, Florida. And once I refined my search to Miami, Florida, I just came up into the search bar, copied this exact link right here, and then pasted it in this exact exact position directly after that /. And as you can see on the right hand side, we actually have a preview of some of the data that we're scraping in here. Now, in order to process this, we're actually gonna have to clean it up a little bit, which brings me into our next step. So as I said, with our lead scraping source, you could choose whatever source that you want to. In this case, I'm using for sale by owner listings. You can look at other sources like MLS or even Facebook groups if that's something that you have experience with. But again, in this case, I'm just going to for sale by owner because this tends to be a pretty reliable source. And again, this is something that's going to be updated relatively frequently, so it's not too hard to be finding new leads here. Anyways, our next step is actually to clean up some of this data. So we're going to be passing it through a couple of steps, first to organize it, and then to actually format it to save it into our CRM. Now, the easiest way to do this is to actually use an AI step in between our actual scrape data and our CRM. This is actually going to be an AI information extractor. So let me show you how I've set this up. So basically what you're looking at here, I'm passing all of the data that I just scraped from our for sale by owner listings, and I just pulled that data right into this text field right here. As you'll remember from that last step, we had that big wall of text that was just full of information that ended up being super messy to process. And this step is essentially going to fix that up for us so that we can break up all of this data and understand exactly what it is we have here. So what you're seeing right here is this step actually transformed all of that text into the data that you're seeing on the right hand side here. So as you can see, each of these categories has all of the information that aligns with my CRM. And all of this is just going to be really easy to pass off into our CRM after we actually extract it. Now for this input schema right here, you don't actually have to worry about it because again, everything that you see in this video will be available in my template if you go down into my description and download that. But basically what's going on here is I'm giving the system an example as to how I want to extract this data and what sort of format I actually want my result to be outputted in. But beyond that, you don't actually need to worry too much about this unless you're going to be scraping a different source aside from for sale by owner listings. In that case, you'll have to come in here and I'd recommend copying this, giving it to ChatGPT, and then asking it to reformat it according to whatever data you have access to. Now, because this is an AI step, we're actually going to be working with a system prompt here as well in order to just reinforce what kind of information I'm trying to extract here. So for this step, I've actually done a little bit of role prompting to actually get it to work here. I've essentially asked it to act as an expert real estate data extractor, and I've told it to extract the following information from the data set that I've handed it. I've just reiterated all of the categories here that I wanted to extract. And if you're extracting any different information, I'd recommend coming in here and tailoring this prompt up a little bit just to align with whatever information you actually have to extract. So if you want to pull emails or phone numbers or anything else like that, then be sure to include that in here so that the AI is actually able to pull that information for you. Lastly, I've asked the AI step to output this data in JSON format, where each individual property is an object containing all of this information that I've inputted above. And just to clarify, this is what's going to help us organize things better once we actually start getting into our CRM to transfer this information. Now, the second part of this data organization is actually to split everything out into separate items so that we can save it to our CRM. This step is essentially taking the output from our AI data extractor, and it's actually going to split out all of that data into what you're seeing right here on the right hand side. As you can see, each of these leads and all of their information are separated. And again, this is just an organizational step. You don't have to worry too much about what's going on here. And now after we actually have that data organized, we're going to be saving it to our CRM. In my case, I'm going to be using Airtable because it tends to be pretty easy to automate, and it essentially serves all of the functions that I need to for a demo like this. But if you're using a different CRM or you have a certain platform that you prefer, then you can always just switch out this Airtable step for whatever CRM you happen to be using. But regardless of where you're putting this information, everything that I just showed you in this demo so far is actually going to be saved directly into that CRM database. Now, of course, this will vary depending on what type of data you're actually pulling. And this is just going to make it way easier for you to actually see what you have and determine who you want to reach out to. Now, here's the actual Airtable step that I mentioned a second ago. All that's happening here is that I've connected this node to my actual real estate CRM into my new leads table so that all of this information can just get filled right in. And under values to send, you can see that I've just mapped all of these different variables. And if you have to do any adjustments here, all you need to do is click these variables and then drag and drop them into these fields here. As long as you've processed all of your information and cleaned it up in the way that I've instructed you to here, then you shouldn't have any issues getting all of this sent over into your CRM. And the final step in this simple lead gen workflow is actually to send you a success email to let you know that everything went through okay. Now we're actually going to be generating that email using an AI step to actually throw some variables in there and make sure that the message itself is dynamic so that it can always keep you updated on your new lead information. And from there, of course, you could add other automations like filtering out leads if you find that that's necessary. And some people like doing that just to make sure that they're getting their ideal customer avatar. And if you really want to, you can also have some sort of a cold outreach system connected to this. and send personalized emails out to each of these new leads that you have. And again, if you guys are actually interested in that, I made a video about using an AI agent for cold outreach, which I'm going to link somewhere up here, and you guys can feel free to go check that out too. Now, if we take a look at this actual step that's generating our email, the main thing going on here is our actual system prompt. And to be honest with you, there isn't too much going on here because this is a relatively straightforward task to complete. I've just instructed this model to generate a kind and friendly email for the user to let you know that you've finished the lead generation task and you've saved all of the leads directly into my CRM. And I've also given it a few extra instructions, like only outputting the email body in the response, keeping the email between 3 and 6 sentences, and excluding a subject line. And finally, I want it to sign off as Alyssa with my AI operations. Now, I've also given it a little bit of context here. I've dropped in a couple of variables here, which you could see in preview on the right-hand side. And these variables are actually the day, the month, and the actual day of the month. So essentially what I'm saying here is, for context, today is Tuesday, June 10th. Please use this info and let the user, Mike, know what day you retrieve these leads. Now, of course, the last step is to actually send that email. And for that, I'm using a Gmail tool right here, which I'm using to send that email to my personal email right here. But when you guys set this up for yourself, be sure to go under this to address and actually change this to whatever email you want to be sending this update to. Under the subject, I've actually inserted the same variables that you guys just saw within the last step. And I've got this set up to always create subject lines that'll say something like new leads, Tuesday, June 10th. And if you want to see exactly what that's going to look like in your subject line, just look at this preview right here below it. And now for the actual message, I've just grabbed the actual output from that previous AI step that we just went through, and I've dropped it right into this message body here. So every time we generate a new message, that exact content will be getting sent directly into your inbox. Now that takes care of our actual lead gen workflow here, but I'm sure you guys are wondering a little bit about how this AI task agent actually works if you're wanting to accomplish any background work using the same AI agent. Now again, you guys can add way more tools to this. I just added a couple here just to kind of show you what's possible and to keep this demo focused on the lead gen side of things. But let's take a look at our agent here and see how we've actually set this up. Now I'm just going to be passing the user message into this prompt, and under our system message, I actually have the instructions for how this agent is going to be behaving. In this case, this is another extremely simple prompt, and this is mainly because there are only a couple of tools assigned to this agent and I don't have too much going on in the background here. Essentially, I've just prompted this to be a simple, helpful, charming real estate assistant for Mike, a broker at the Sunset Group. And I've told it just to help me out with daily tasks depending on whatever I request, and to always use a kind and friendly tone. I've also passed in this date time variable in order to give it context for booking any events. Now under tasks, I've actually given it instructions on when to use each of these tools and how they both work. First, I've told it to use the book meeting tool to book any meetings in my calendar. And this could include anything from showings, calls, or client meetings. And secondly, I've told it to use the get client data tool if I happen to request any information about my clients, like budget, email, property info, or anything else contained in my CRM. And again, you can add way more tools to this agent, or you can even connect it to other workflows if you want to. But for now, this is just a very simple personal AI agent that you can use to accomplish a couple of those background tasks for you, just to save a bit of time on top of being able to generate leads with the same workflow. Now for our actual tools, let's take a look at this book a meeting tool so that you guys can understand a little more about how this works. Now this is a very simple tool to set up. All I have it doing here is creating an event in my Google Calendar and defining a start and end time using the AI to determine what I'm asking for. And under additional fields, I've added attendees, a location, and a summary just to keep everything organized in my calendar so that all of the events that I book are actually labeled. Aside from that, that's pretty much everything that's going on within this tool. All you'll need to do to get this set up is connect your Google Calendar credential. Now the second and final tool I've added to this agent is actually to get client data. Now this is also connected to the same real estate CRM in my Airtable that I'm saving my leads to, but this time I'm actually going to connect it to my client database as opposed to my lead database. As you can see, I also have a few sample clients within my CRM inside of a different table here, and this is actually where I'm able to pull all of this information in order to streamline some of these client communications. And I've just got this operation set to search, and from there it's pretty much able to take whatever type of information I request out of my Airtable database. Now this agent might have looked a bit complicated on the surface. Now that we've actually broken it down step by step, I hope it makes a lot more sense to you guys, and I hope you can see just how much value there is in something like this when it comes to lead gen and overcoming a lot of these issues that people come across when it comes to actually generating quality leads on a consistent basis, as well as getting some of those background tasks done with the help of a simple little AI agent. And with that about wraps up everything I wanted to cover in today's video. And if you guys stayed all the way to the end, I appreciate you for watching. And once again, you could download this entire template that you see on screen right here completely for free down in my resources in the description. And you could start using this exact agent right here to start scraping some leads for you, sending them to your CRM, And you can even try booking a couple of appointments so that you can directly see what it's like to work with an AI agent within whatever workflows you're handling every day. And just to put it out there, if you're in real estate or you own a business, you can hit my first link down in the description if you want me to send you a personalized AI action plan completely for free to address whatever issues or workflows that you might want to use AI to handle. Or you can hit my second link to actually book a one-on-one consultation with me so that we could directly talk about what AI or some agent systems can do for your business. Now, with all of that said, I'd appreciate it if you guys would consider dropping a like and subscribe down below if you enjoy content like this. And as always, if you have any questions about this or want to chat about anything, go ahead and let me know down in the comments and I'll do my best to respond to everyone. Thank you guys again for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and got some value out of it. And as usual, I will catch you all in the next one.